What are the top 7 high-ticket dropshipping product ideas for 2025? Well, in order to find out, you'll have to watch till the end of this video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is a Friday here for me. It is August 2nd, and for today's video, I put together the top 7 high-ticket dropshipping ideas for niches going into 2025. Now, I would just like to clarify, when I say top 7, I don't actually mean these are for sure the best out of all of the products that exist in the world, products going into 2025, but I think these ones are pretty good. If you follow my channel for a while, you know how I feel about niches as far as what I look for. You will probably know that I lean towards need-based, utility-based products that are not sexy, and I've got a whole gang of those here today for you. Because the thing that I like about not sexy, need-driven, utility-driven products is it removes an entire layer of subjectivity. For instance, if you're shopping for a bathtub, if you're shopping for a couch, if you're shopping for something like a lifestyle, a decor, something luxury, there's a level of subjectivity that goes into it that it's like, oh, this might not look good with my beige walls. I saw this on a different store that looks a little better. It kind of suits my taste a little more. The thing with need-based, utility-based products is it removes that entirely. People are buying these products to perform a function, and if your product performs that function, it fits their requirements, and it fits the price point that they're looking for, then it is a much easier sell than something like trying to sell a chandelier to somebody whose home you've never seen before. So that said, a lot of these are more on the B2B side, I will say. B2B niches are a little tougher to break into, but because they're tougher to break into, the competition is much lower from what I have experienced over the years, especially with specific suppliers that only work with established dealers, or they're a lot more selective with the dealers that they work with. If you can get in with those companies, it leaves a lot of room for opportunity. And just a reminder, I do offer a service now where I get people suppliers for their high-ticket dropshipping businesses, and as always, I'll plug my high-ticket dropshipping program and mentorship down below. You'll find both of those links for both of those things down below. So anyways, I'm going to go through the top 7. I'm not going to speak at length about each one, just in the interest of keeping this kind of a shorter video, but I encourage you to do your own research on these and see if they might be viable for you. But I spent the last couple of days coming up with these ideas. They've got price points that have a pretty broad range, and like I said, they're kind of more on the B2B side with some potential residential / private citizen use. So let's get into it. The first one is milk machines. Now, when I say milk machines, I literally mean machines that are used by dairy farmers to milk their cows or their goats. I don't know this industry at all. I have never worked in this industry. I've never had a business that served this industry. So as far as what other products you could potentially explore in that world, as far as like dairy farming products, I bet there's a lot. If there's one thing I've learned with going through a lot of niches over the years, it's whenever you enter one, it's like this whole world that is undiscovered by you, and there's so much more within each niche than you previously even realized. So average price point for milk machines that I found is anywhere from $4,000 to $15,000. Actually, I saw a couple for like $1,200 for goats, but yeah, that's the first one, milk machines for dairy farmers. The second one, underwater drones. And this is the one that I think could maybe be used for both commercial and like non-commercial use, just for fun or for recreation. But there's a huge range for these. They can go anywhere from $500 all the way up to $50,000. because they're, just smaller ones that people can use, like the way that people fly their own drones around in the air. Same applies to underwater. But for commercial use, there are some pretty heavy duty underwater drones that are used for probably like mapping or inspecting underwater pipes, something along those lines. But anywhere from $500 to $50,000 for underwater drones. Biomass pellet mills. I know nothing about this product. I came across this, and it kind of related to like granulizers. If you come from an agriculture-based state, you've probably seen something similar along the highway. Different grain mills have these sorts of systems. I'm sure if you're a farmer out there and you're listening to me, you're probably like, God, this babbling idiot doesn't know what he's talking about. And you're right, I don't. I've never worked in this industry, but these have a really good price point. They don't have a lot of sellers on Google. Anywhere from $2,000 to $15,000 for biomass pellet mills. And I apologize if I continue to look down. It's because I have my notes right here, so I don't forget what I'm talking about. Next thing, Waterjet cutters. You probably know what these are. Turns out you can use really high water pressure to cut things. Average price point $5,000 to $100,000. These things get really, really intense and heavy duty. Obviously, on the $100,000 side, we're probably talking about like factory use for manufacturing. When it gets to that level, it becomes a little harder to set up selling agreements with suppliers and having them let you drop ship those products. But for other smaller grade, even commercial use, there's still very much a window for you to find suppliers in really any commercial niche. It's just like when it starts becoming $100,000 projects that probably require some sort of a project manager on site to implement these things. It's like that's a conversation you need to have with the respective supplier. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but just a quick sidebar. I had back in the day with my previous store that I sold, I had one supplier that said no to me for a couple of years. I went back to them every 6 months being like, hey, I'm actually doing really well in this space and I want to work with you guys. Just want to see what that would look like. They kept telling me no because the products they carried were way, way bigger than what I was currently selling, like physically, like $30,000 to $50,000 projects. And what I basically told them was like, hey, I actually have a lot of commercial customers here. The biggest thing that I can currently offer them is this. What I would really like to be able to offer them is what you produce. And so through a lot of conversations, ended up settling on an agreement where they allowed me to drop ship their products, but they required to have a project manager on site. So they would literally, and I would pay for it. The margins were so good anyway. It was like I would profit $20,000 from a single sale, even with a project manager going there for a couple $1,000s on my dime. So that's just as an example of kind of negotiations that you can work out with any supplier that you're working with. So Waterjet cutters, $5,000 to $100,000, and I could see how you could expand that to like laser cutters too, which I think are a little more well known. But anyway, on to the next. Next one, industrial exoskeletons. This has never come across my radar. I looked them up, and it's kind of exactly what you would picture, I guess. It's like kind of these supporting exoskeleton suits almost that like factory workers will wear or construction workers will wear. Like if you have a really physical hands-on job and you have heavy things to carry, I guess these things are built to support you, and these can range anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 on the high end. Haven't really done a whole lot more research on that one, but I'm sure like anything else, it's a whole world otherwise undiscovered by me. So on to the next one, waste compactors. You've probably seen these, if you've worked in a warehouse before, or really, I think most businesses have these, or a lot of businesses have them. You literally throw your trash or recycling into this thing and it just like the thing goes down and it smashes it. I'm sure there's a bunch of different kinds, but the price point is anywhere from $3,000 to $30,000. And I guess really, you know, for maybe like rural customers, like farms where, you know, maybe they don't get a frequent trash collection. This could be something that has residential and commercial applications. But anyway, that's waste compactors. Last one here, pipe inspection equipment, and more specifically, the one that I came across was pipe inspection, like robotic systems. So literal like systems that are kind of robotic based that will inspect pipes and try to find blockages or clear blockages. And like along those lines, I'm sure there's a whole world in that space that deals with like pipe cleaning and pipe clearing and pipe inspection that there's probably a bunch of stuff that you've never heard of that that exists in that world. That was kind of an awkward sentence, but price point range for this that I found was about $2,000 to $20,000. So probably just depends on the scale of the project and the scale of the pipes that need to be inspected. So there you have it. That's my list. I'll probably do another one of these videos kind of closer to the new year. But as we're looking forward to 2025, obviously I've always said in this day and age, especially in e-commerce and in high ticket drop shipping, your niche is your most important part of your business. I always say there are three things that you need to get right. The first is your niche, the second is your website, the third is your Google Ads. And if you do all of those things at least semi-correctly, you're gonna have a really high chance of success. And like always, I will plug my program. I cover all of these elements in my high ticket dropshipping program. Encourage you to check it out. But if you have questions, feel free to email me as well. But I'm gonna end that there and hope you all have a great weekend.